Hi, this is KeatonCar89 with another one of my videos. This is for a kit bash or bootleg figure from Team of Prototyping. Now this may be Crazy Toys. I think they have the same factory, or it's a new name for the company. But this is the Captain America Endgame kind of sideshow knockoff figure. But this is the limited edition 999 piece version that features the darker blue on the character, and it comes with a little bonus. As you can see, it's got a damaged shield as well, so I'll be having a look at that in the packaging. I'll just scroll around to go to the side, and you can see just Captain America, a little bit of a kind of like Starfield on there from the start of the movie when Tony Stark is lost in space. And then on the back you can see what he comes with, which is Molyneux. And there's the figure in its darker blue. Of course, usual unreadables. And it's just highlighting some of the detail on the shield there, the actual amount of damage. But we'll get to that when we look at the figure. And again on the other side, no Starfield this time, just a full length view of the figure. Right. Right, I'll just show you the back of the box, because that's where it opens from. It's a gatefold, and it has the rear of the figure, which I think is a really good look. I am surprised that people don't show this figure occasionally from the back view. I think that would look good in a cabinet, maybe an over-the-shoulder look by turning the head, you know, as though he's being called out and he's stopped in his tracks and is about to look back over his shoulder. I think that's a really good look for this figure, so I'm glad they included that. Right, inside the box, I'll have to lay this down so you can see it, so things don't start to fall out. So if you just give me 1 second, we'll have a look. Okay, straight after the packaging, this is what we have. Very loosely wrapped, and I mean very loosely, is just folded over, is the shield, which is got some quite nice detailing on it of dirt and nitty gritty. I'll just turn that around and you can clearly see much sharper detail now in this damaged shield, and I think this is a really good piece to show in the video. You can see the detailing underneath. That's impressive. And as I scroll around, you can see the gnarled edges and the underside of the shield, how deeply cracked and recessed it is. Now it does feel very, very flimsy, very thin. There is some weight to it, but I think that's more the magnet on it. I was surprised when I took it out of the box how light this actually was. I expected it to be a little bit more substantial, but by no means a complaint. I have seen in other videos for the regular figure in the lighter blue that the shield's magnet is very weak and doesn't sort of support the weight and doesn't hold on too well, so that may be an issue with this one. I haven't tried it. This is straight from the box. But moving along, we'll come to again another just folded over and wrapped Molyneux. Now it has to be said, the detailing on these pieces, although they aren't original and they may be a copy cast, the detailing is quite strong. You're not going to complain if someone gave this to you and said, you know, that's a Hot Toys version. There is definitely a weight to it. You might believe them. I certainly can't tell the difference. I've not studied the Thor figures too well, but I can tell you that the detailing on this Molyneux, you can clearly see the detail on the handle there. There's some really fine work there. There's a little leatherette kind of strap there. It clearly isn't leather, but you're not going to complain when you and there is some heft to that. You're not going to complain with this Molyneux as an accessory piece, and I'm really happy to get that. Actually, I think that's really good. Let's put that to one side. Move the polystyrene out of the way, and we'll have a look at the new stand. Now, with Crazy Toys, if this is the Crazy Toys company, let's get the Captain America nameplate in focus, which I believe is off kilter. It's not straight. That may well just be my eyesight, but it looks slightly off kilter. They've adapted the stand to look a little bit more like the Hot Toys sort of Civil War and Endgame bases. That's not a complaint, I think, to make it look a new style. The old stands were getting old, and I never used them. I always move these to the sort of waste paper basket and move on to another stand. However, this time they've added a kind of a saddle crutch grab feature, which I think is a good idea. I think it adds a little bit more stability. It's going to be ugly at the front, true enough. Maybe they could have, you know, give you a half saddle at the back and then tapered it to a couple of regular prongs at the front. And you know, this I think adds a little bit more support to the figure, so I'm not so reluctant to not use this time. I think I might have a look at maybe adding a decal to this and ignoring this. Maybe do a front decal here, but I don't think this is as throwaway or as passable as I initially thought it would be. You of course have the standard, you know, tensioned grip that you would normally have, and that is, you know, that's got some grip to it, but it's not going to replace your originals, and I'm not really a big fan of such big grabbers, as you're going to clearly see at the front, from the front, this. So I'm not such a fan. However, I think this stand is not as ignorable as the others have been in the past. So, putting that to one side, let's look at the figure. Now the figure comes polybagged, nice and sealed, but you can clearly see you've got a nice big chunky hefty figure. So we'll get him out of the bag and we'll have a look at him as well, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, I've got the figure out of its packaging, and I'll just scroll up from the bottom, and again I'll give you a little bit more detail on my thoughts. I'm scrolling up from the figure, and I'll remove, now you've seen it in shot, I'll remove it, and we'll start at the boots. Now the boots are kind of a dark matte brown, which I don't know, I'm not really that concerned about. You know, Captain America usually is red with boots, but I've seen him wear a darker colour in other movies, so that's not really an issue. The knee pads are fine. There's an elasticate around the back holding them in place. And as I scroll up, you can see the figure is actually quite dirty on the dark of the trousers. No problem with that. I'm quite like the detail actually. And I'll just stop there and we'll look at the belt. Now the belt on this figure, my thoughts after seeing other reviews of the Crazy Toys version, again I'm taking the Crazy Toys and this company as the same company in all but name. So I was kind of like, no, I'm definitely going to change the belt around, but having seen it in hand and having it lowered onto the waistband rather than higher as it was sitting, I'm quite happy with that actually, surprisingly so. I'll probably give a little touch of glue, a little fabric glue or something like that to hold it in place, because it does need to sit right on the crest of the trousers, so that you've got adequate view of the waist. And as you can see, there's some nice muscle tone underneath, some dirt as well, bringing out that muscle tone, which is again a nice feature. And I'll turn the figure around slowly and we'll have a look at the gloves. Now the pouch here contains a magnet, and there's a magnet on the back of the shield as well. Now, the one problem that I've seen is the magnet to me is a support, not something that will hold. It does have a magneticity to it, but it's not going to hold by itself. It will drop away. So the handles on the shields actually lift, but there's just a touch needed to shave out of one edge, this outer edge, to just stop paint rub on the outside of the hand, because I think it would look really good with this shield. I mean, I'm kind of torn on it, but we'll get back to that. So looking at the gauntlets and the wrists, really nice, some, you know, knuckle protectors there. And I have to admit, I'm really a lot more impressed with this figure than I initially thought I would be. On first viewing of photographs, it looked over chunky, you know, like everybody else. You think, oh, it's not Hot Toys. No, it's not Hot Toys. It is a copy, and there's more dirt on the trousers, you can see. Thank you, aeroplane. That's the problem of filming in summer. You need a window open. So as you can clearly see, they've added a lot of scuff and dirt detail to the figure. And yeah, the gauntlet contains a magnet. Happy with the gauntlets, I must admit. And as I scroll up, you can see again it needed a push down onto the back of the trouser, and again a little bit of glue I think I'm going to just put on there just so it holds, because it wants to ride up. It really does, because if anything, the back of the butt of Captain America with these pouches is pushing it slightly up, so it does need a little bit of fixed glue. Now I'll go up, and as you can see, these straps. Now this is a one molded piece onto the armor. It's not separate. Now with the Hot Toys figure, this is a separate piece, and normally, and I have looked into it, normally I would say, right, I'm definitely going to replace that, but with it being so molded onto this armor, it would be hard to hide by covering over with another part. So this can't really be kit bashed. If it was removable, if it was the same as this and removable, then maybe you know, if it bothered me that much, I would look at getting the Hot Toys original as a kit bash replacement. And I'll scroll around and we'll look at the shoulders. Nice protection there. Again, it's just held on with a little elasticated band that you can see there, but you know, well hid on this version. I'm quite impressed with the body underneath this time. On Crazy Toys, usually the first thing I think is, right, jettison the body, get rid of it. But I'm very impressed with this armour, actually, I have to say. It pops a lot more than I thought it would. I thought it would look, with the fabric and this armour being, you know, it's a mixed media. You've got fabric here, and then it goes to hard plastic. I thought it wouldn't look or pass well. Now, obviously, it's nothing like the Endgame armour. But, and here's the big but it's very passable. Now you notice I've not actually put the head on this figure yet, and we'll take a look at that now. Now, for a third party figure, that is a very good head sculpt. You can clearly see that's definitely Chris Evans, and the darker colour to the mask is really good. I'm very impressed. Bit of dirt on the A, you know, nothing's really super clean on this figure, and that's why I think I went for this darker colour, because there was clearly some, you know, they'd taken time to colour the figure. And yes, this is limited to 999 pieces. It isn't an authentic, but if you are going to buy a Crazy Toys Captain America and you're looking at kit bashing, you might want to look at this more limited 999 edition, and then you might not have to, because I'm giving serious consideration to not kit bashing this figure and leaving it as standard. But the head, it has to be said, is really nice. The detail on the ears is there, you know, full look to that is really good. My only concern with this figure is the length of the neck. I think the neck is just a touch too high. Now I'll pause and put the head on, and then we can have a look at it and see what I mean. Right, now this is the figure with the head completely on, and I just think there's just the tiniest little bit of giraffe neck going on, not by much, just a hair's breadth. I think in the darker blue, if you can put the chin down, that passes very well. I'll do a wide shot of the figure. As you can see, it's a little bit more muscular than I think the Chris Evans body needs to be. Although, you know, Captain America is no slouch. He's quite buff. But I think you can get away with this. I think the darker colour actually plays well into hiding the fact that this is a longer neck. I think if it was the brighter Crazy Toys version, it's more noticeable. I think the dark hides this very well. I may still sort of shave a little bit off the top there. Just a fraction though, not by much. I mean, if I was going to kit bash this body, then, you know, it wouldn't be a problem. And I might still, because I have another idea for this that I'll bring into play. And what I'm talking about is, if you can look on eBay or a third party, there is a Talos head from Captain Marvel, head and hands. Now, I may not use the hands, or maybe I would, who knows, but that has a neck to it. So if I can get a necklace body for this and use a Talos head, then you have two figures. You have, you know, a Skrull Captain America. And that was one of my plans. So maybe, you know, I might look at kit bashing this and have a look at another body. Certainly the decal will go on the base. But, you know, again, putting the figure on the stand with the darker tones, this front saddle piece, although it's visible clearly from the side, and in a cabinet with lights, maybe, you know, it'll be a bit more obvious and it would play up a little bit more. But the darker colours and darker tones on this version, the limited 999 piece version, from I think a body of prototyping, is the one to go for. I really can stress that. If you're going to go for the Crazy Toys Captain America in this style, go for this darker version. You know, you will not be disappointed. If you can find it, grab it, then decide, you know, at a later date, if you are going to kit bash it, then do. But this is a much better start than I thought. You know, I expected when I ordered the, or when I first saw the Crazy Toys version, I was like, it's going to be a kit bash straight away. I'm going to rip it apart and I'm going to salvage and use. I'm not so, you know, not keen, but I'm not so quick to judge. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Again, this is the 999 piece edition, which is the only one that comes with the additional Molyneux. And it is obviously based on Avengers Endgame to get that piece and the fractured shield. You know, if you're going to sort of replace it or use the broken shield, then it's going to play even more to that movie. And again, the darker brown rather than the red. You know, they don't pop as much, but I think this is kind of one of those figures where you're going to have to judge it on its own merits rather than think, oh, it's got to look like this and it's got to look that and that doesn't look right and this doesn't look right. Yes, there are things you can change and the things that people will kit bash it. But this has surprised me. This figure has surprised me. It's much better than I initially thought it would be. Those are my final thoughts. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Take care and see you in the next video.